Hi! Welcome to Tuesday. Welcome to Vlogmas Day 15. 10 days till Christmas. Does that make anyone else panic? I'm still not done with Christmas shopping. You know, it is what it is. I have just been drinking my coffee, eating breakfast, or brunch. It's afternoon. It's 12:15. I have had a very slow morning. I had a bit of a rough night. I just was not in the best headspace. Yeah, this morning I just didn't want to get out of bed. It was nice and cold in the apartment. It got down to 60 in here, which made me very happy. It was 62 when I fell asleep last night. So it was really nice in here. And of course, in my bed, I was all toasty, warm, and snuggly. I've got 2 blankets and a duvet. And then throw blankets on top of those. And then I had a hot water bottle in bed with me as well, keeping my feet warm. And so under the covers, I was almost too warm, but I just wanted to stay there this morning. I did not want to get up and get out of bed. So that was a bit of a struggle, but I did get up. I've touched up my hair. I've put in some more waves. I'm loving the GHD. I'm just so over the moon happy with it. So I'm still playing with it, but yeah, I really love how my hair is looking using it, and just how easy it is. I touched up my hair, put on a little bit of makeup, put on some sparkly Christmassy jewelry. My mom gave me these earrings when I was over at the house last. I've got my red sweater on, and I've got a kind of Christmassy festive blanket scarf on that I'm just draped around my shoulders. And I've just been watching Fleur de Force's Vlogmas on my other monitor, which has been really nice. She's one of the YouTubers that got me into doing YouTube in the first place. She was the first kind of YouTuber in the beauty, fashion, lifestyle space that I started watching. Prior to discovering her channel, I thought YouTube was just cute cat videos. And so I really didn't watch YouTube. I started watching her vlog channel first. So her Vlogmas videos were also some of the first videos I watched. And I've probably gone back and rewatched her old Vlogmas videos, you know, multiple times. I miss when she did every day, but I totally understand why she doesn't. She kind of does weekly. So I get it, and it makes sense, and I would probably do the same thing if I had, you know, a toddler like she does. But yeah, there's just something nostalgic for me about watching her Vlogmas videos. So I've just been watching those and having a really lovely morning and now afternoon. I have work I need to do, so I'm going to try to get to that. First, advent calendar. It feels big and heavy, and I'm trying to remember like what could be left that would be in this, but I can't remember. Oh, okay. Oh, those are pretty. We've got Mini Me Velour Effortless Lashes, and they look really nice. And these ones, they look thick, but the pack I got last year that came in the Lash Stash set were really dramatic, and I've not been able to wear those ones, but these ones look good. And they're in a very lovely, they're all taped together. They're in a very lovely case. So there they are. And that's a really nice case for kind of keeping them protected when I'm not using them. And if I wanted to take them with me to my parents' house for Christmas, I could do that. So I have not worn, I tried wearing false lashes like 3 or 4 weeks ago. I just thought, you know, what the heck? I used to wear them all the time, and I haven't worn them like at all this year. And so I put them on, and they were all kinds of wonky. They were just doing whatever they wanted. So I need to practice doing false lashes, because I haven't done them in a while, and I think I forgot how to properly apply them. So yeah, but those are really lovely. So that's fun. Okay, I need to get going. I'm gonna get to work, get some stuff done, and then I will come back and chat to you guys again. Hi! Okay, I have now gotten a fair bit of work done and I'm getting ready to get to work on some writing. I think I'm gonna go make a cup of tea. It's just a little bit after 3, so I still have plenty of time to get some work done. So I'm gonna be working on editing my book with Tamsin and outlining my cozy romance. Those are the 2 plans for today, or for the next couple hours at least. But before I get into that, one of you lovely people, my friend Francesca, DM'd me on Instagram and was asking me if I had any tips for being a better writer and any books or other resources that I can share. And I thought that that would be worth kind of getting into a little bit here on the vlog. I'm enjoying talking more about writing and you guys seem to be enjoying it. So in terms of books and resources, I don't have a lot. And I know the first one I'm going to mention Francesca's already read because she mentioned it in her DM, but it's Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. It's just really good. Basically, it's just about giving yourself permission to do the creative things that you want to do. And it breaks down a lot of myths and stereotypes of being a creative person. And so I really love her kind of no-nonsense approach and the way that she doesn't, it's like, she's not precious about writing. And I really like that because I feel like there's this idea that only certain people can be writers, or that writing is this really difficult thing to do, and unless you can do it perfectly, you shouldn't bother. And I'm all about just making a mess and embracing the chaos of your writing and just doing it. So getting into my tips, my first one really is to just start writing. It really is that simple. Just start writing. Part of writing is the outlining stage. So when I say just start writing, I also mean like outline first. Do your free write or do whatever you need, but don't feel like you can't start writing up your story until you've got the idea perfected in your head. Like just start getting stuff down. It'll start to take its shape. So just start writing. Along with that, accept that your first draft will be bad and write it anyway. So this then ties into the other resource I always love sharing, and it's Shitty First Drafts by Anne Lamott. It's just an essay. It's pretty short, and if you Google Shitty First Drafts by Anne Lamott, you should be able to find a PDF copy online. It's something that I share with my writing students, particularly when I teach 101 and 102, but it's also relevant for my business writing students because people get nervous about writing, and you can feel like there's a certain way that you have to do it, and that if you can't write your first draft perfectly, you just shouldn't bother. And that is so far from the truth. Your first draft is never going to be perfect. Even when, like, my first drafts are never as bad as I think they are. The feedback is always overwhelmingly pretty positive. But even if it was as bad as I thought it is, it's still worth writing, and it's still worth putting down, because you can't edit something you haven't written. This is something else that I tell my students all the time. You can't edit something that you haven't written, so you have to just write it. Another big tip I have is to read more books. Just read a lot. Read within your genre that you want to write in, but read outside of your genre. So I read fiction and nonfiction and creative nonfiction. I read a lot of romance, but I also love historical dramas. I love mysteries. I love thrillers. I love fantasy, supernatural, paranormal. I'll read YA. I'll read new adult. I don't read as much of YA and new adult, but like at the end of the day, if the story sounds good, I'll read it, and I don't really care what genre it's in. Reading as much as possible, and that's going to vary for people, but it's really, really important. And so it's not necessarily like, I know I get comments about how much I read. I recognize not everyone can read as much as I do. Let's bear in mind that I'm single and I live alone. I don't have children I'm taking care of. I don't have a dog I'm taking care of. I don't have a partner. So yes, I read a lot, but I also don't have that much that pulls on my time. So reading is just a top priority for me. So it's not about reading one or two books a week the way I sometimes do, but it's about always having a book that you are reading. I think if you are wanting to be a writer, whether that's casually as a hobby or professionally as your career, you should always be reading something. And also, I recognize that as much as I love holding a book in my hand, I read faster on my Kindle. And so I do kind of prefer getting stuff on Kindle just so that I can read it faster and get through more books that way. I'm always reading something, and I read in a variety of different genres, and even within genres, so like within romance, I read cozy romance, I read romantic comedy, I read contemporary romance, romantic drama. I read a lot of different types of romance, and I'm familiar, I read different tropes. So I'm not just sticking to the same trope. You can have your favorite tropes and you can have your favorite genres, but you should still be reading widely outside of those favorites so that you are aware of what is going on. I'm a firm believer that you can absolutely break the rules, but you have to know what the rules are before you can break them, because you have to know that you're intentionally breaking the rule so that you can break the rule in the best way possible, if that makes sense. So read a lot. The other thing I would say is dedicate time to it. Make time for it and make it a regular habit or practice in your day. If you miss a day, that's fine. There are plenty of days where I don't get around to working on stuff. But when I'm in that like really serious drafting mode, as you've seen, I'll set word goals on Scrivener. And so I don't give up for the day until I've met that word goal. I try to make sure that I give myself enough time that I can meet that word goal without it taking 5 hours. Because as much as I write, like I often get told when people find out like how much I read and how much I write and how many books I've, I'm preparing to do, or seeing how I put out, my second book in just 2 years. I've heard more than once that I'm a machine. And I'm not. I'm human. I'm just like the rest of you guys, but I have a passion for this, and I don't have other things that I feel are more important than this. Like I said, I don't have a partner. I don't have a pet. I don't have kids. I don't have the pulls on my time that other people do. I work a full-time job, but that's 8 hours in a 24-hour day, and then I sleep for about 8 or 9 hours, but that still leaves me several hours in a day. And so I can take 1 hour, and most people can take 30 minutes. If you're only working for 30 minutes, you're probably not going to get 100,000 word draft in 10 weeks the way that I did, but that was a time thing that I imposed on myself. If you're just writing for the sake of writing and to enjoy it, then I think having a shorter time frame that you allot yourself, having it be a 20 or 30 minute daily practice, will keep it more fun and more enjoyable than when you feel like I've got to get to 1,200 words before, I stop for the day, or I've got to write for 2 hours today. But dedicating time, making it a regular habit is really, really important. And then the final thing I would say is indulge your creativity. As I was talking about yesterday or the day before when I was talking about how I outline, a huge part of it is just letting my mind wander and letting myself daydream and fantasize about the story I'm wanting to tell. And it's not this rigid step-by-step process. It's just letting my head kind of float in the clouds for a bit. I've always been a hugely imaginative person. As a kid, I just was constantly playing make-believe games and letting my imagination run wild. Finding that inner childish imagination again. And things that help me with that are reading, because that's an imaginative, creative process, reading. Looking through picture books, wandering museums. Obviously that's harder to do now, but I love going to museums. But even with everything going on right now, a lot of museums have a lot of their holdings online. And so you can go to some of these museums and go to their websites, and there's exhibitions and collections and things that you can view online. Reading biographies about people, reading travel books and travel blogs, and going down a rabbit hole in the Instagram explore page or something. Like, there's so many things you can do. Watching films and TV shows and listening to podcasts, like anything that will get your imagination going and indulge in creativity, doodling on a piece of notebook paper, anything like that that can get you kind of not thinking so logically and rationally and linearly. Is that a word? Not being so linear with your thought process. Because writing a book is not a linear process. I suppose you could make it one, but it's not how I write. It's not how my brain works. And so indulging in creative pursuits and not seeing them as frivolous, but seeing them as a necessary part of the creative writing process. So that's been a bit of a ramble, but I hope that's helped. I feel like, yeah, there are courses you could take, there are degrees you could get, there are workshops you could take, there are books you could buy on how to be a better writer. But at the end of the day, with all of those things, you still have to sit down and write. Because writing is something that you have to do. It's not something you just learn. And so if you spent 30 minutes reading in a book on how to be a better writer, you then still have to spend at least 30 minutes that day putting that information into practice. I always think, start with what you have. Start writing. Just start getting those ideas out. As you get further into it and as you start developing your writing process as it stands, then you can start reading other books or signing on for courses or looking at blog posts and YouTube videos on how to be a better writer. So like, I can certainly do like a next steps. Like, once you started writing, here's the next stage of becoming a better writer. So let me know if you'd be interested in that. But for people who are just starting to get into it, just start writing. That's really all you can do, is just start writing. On that note, I'm gonna go get myself some tea and get my computer fired up, and I'm gonna just start writing again. It's now 5:41. I need to get myself situated over on the couch, figure out what I'm going to watch, get dinner heated up, make something for dinner. I've got leftover chili, so that's good, but I need to get that all sorted. I did some editing. I got my first chapter is edited for now. I've rewritten the last bit of it, so I got that done. So tomorrow I'll start working on the second chapter. And I got more outlining done. I now am up to almost 7 full chapters outlined, so that's good. I'm going to try to get like up through 9 chapters outlined tomorrow. That would be really good. yeah, making progress on both of those things, which is good and needed. Really need to be making progress. I'm just tired, and it's winter break, and I don't want to work. And I did do some work today. I got that article review done. I hope I did it okay. I've never done that before. It is what it is. I think I got it done well enough, so I'm not going to overthink it. So yeah, I did do some work stuff today, as well as some book stuff. I'm ready for a hopefully easier day tomorrow, but I'm not sure. I still have some work stuff I have to do tomorrow, but I'm hoping I can get a faster, earlier start tomorrow, I guess, because I just could not get moving today. So I'm going to go enjoy a nice, quiet dinner and something on TV. I'm down to the last 2 Harry Potter films, so I'm trying to decide if I want to just finish it tonight and tomorrow, or if I want to put that on hold and watch something else, but I'll probably watch it. So I'm just going to jump into the Christmas question, just in case. I feel like this vlog has gotten a bit long, so just in case I can't pop on later, either because I'm too tired or because it's too long, let's do the Christmas question now. There was one that I found. I've actually got the list in front of me for a change. What Christmas song from your childhood do you still have memorized? Extra points if anyone can sing along. We're not going to sing on this channel. And if you don't have a Christmas song, it'll just be any song from your childhood. But a Christmas song, and it's not even from my childhood, it's from since we moved to Arizona. I'd never heard this song before we moved to Arizona. But there's a children's Christmas song called the Hippopotamus Song. And I think the artist, I think her name was Gayla Peavy. Let me look it up. 1953, sung by Gayla Peavy. And it's basically just, I want a hippopotamus for Christmas. It's just the whole song. She's just thinking about how perfect having a hippopotamus would be. And it's just hilarious. But the reason why it stuck out is because when we first moved here, the Phoenix Valley has a radio station, 99.9 KEZ. And it's kind of just, I mean, at the time when we moved here, it was like 80s, 90s. Actually, it was probably 70s, 80s, and 90s because we moved here in 90s. Now it's kind of, I think, 80s, 90s, and today, or 2000s, 2010s, and today. God knows what they call it, how they do it now. It was just kind of easy listening pop songs. But at a certain point, and they've like increased, they've moved it up every year, they start playing Christmas music 24/7. And, you know, back in the day when we moved here, I didn't have a CD player in my car. I didn't have an aux cable. So I just listened to the radio in the car. It was always like a big deal when 99.9 started playing Christmas music. And then the first time I would hear that song, that was like, it's officially Christmas now. KEZ has played the Hippopotamus Song. But it's a song that, like, listeners, and especially like here in the Valley, it's you love it or you hate it. It was it probably still is such an iconic classic Christmas song. I do have it on my iPod somewhere, or I used to. It's got this kind of big band sound in the back with lots of like trumpets and trombones and drums, and it's just, if you're cranking it in your car, it's just a lot of fun to sing along to. So yeah, that's one from years ago that if it came on right now, I could still sing along beat for beat at the top of my lungs. No one would want to listen, but I could do it. Okay, I'm gonna go get on with dinner and having a relaxing, cozy evening, and I will show you the rest of it and then probably see you all tomorrow. So there's still quite a lot left. So thumbs up, subscribe, comment, answer the question, all that fun stuff, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.